Hi, welcome to UBC's seminar on the Master of Health, Leadership and Policy. Today we're here to discuss seniors care and the specialisation. We are joined by Dr. I'm going to make sure I pronounce your last name completely correctly, Jennifer Baumbusch, and current student Gladys Lai. So we're going to get their input into the student experience as well as some of the technical elements of the course. We would like to welcome our viewers from around the world, so we know that we do have students logging in everywhere from China and India through to closer to home, the USA, and also domestically here in Canada. We would like to remind our audience that this is a live session. We are here to answer your questions. So if you do have something that you would like to know, please write it in the comments section below, and we'll try to respond to it as quickly as possible. If for some reason we don't get to your question, don't panic. We will be responding to all your queries at the end of this seminar, so make sure you tune back in as well. But I'd like to pass it over to you, Dr. Jennifer, just to give us an insight into the course.
Okay, thanks, Ken. So we have been running this program now. This is our third year. And when we were first asked to sort of start thinking about what a Master of Health, Leadership and Policy might be about, there was real recognition that one of the things that was lacking sort of in our university programs was a focus on seniors care, and knowing that we have an aging population and we need people working in management and leadership positions that can marry both their knowledge of seniors care with business and leadership skills. We decided to create this program, and we've tried to keep it very innovative and relevant, given that there is huge demand right now in the job market for people who have this kind of expertise.
Well, and would you say that's probably the biggest reason for students to probably move their specialisation into seniors care? Is that demand?
Well, I would say almost everybody is actually currently working in seniors care. So when we think about, particularly in healthcare settings, over half of all hospital patients are older adults. So regardless of where you're working in a hospital, if you're not working specifically in pediatrics or obstetrics, the main population you're working with is older adults. In the community, over 90% of clients are older adults. And of course, in the long-term care sector, 95% of your clients are going to be older adults. But it also spreads to other areas. Like, we have had people who have backgrounds in banking and in real estate, because really there's growing recognition that across all different areas of working careers, people are working with older adults, and that's just going to continue as the baby boom generation ages.
Wow, and it's not just about the clinical side of things, it's also about the leadership type side of things as well. Can you tell us, why was that part of it developed?
Absolutely. I think, my background's in nursing, and I've worked in long-term care many years ago, and I'm very passionate about my clinical area. But as I was on my own career ladder and went into management, you need to know about things like budgeting and staffing and how policies are created and how governments make decisions about funding. And there's so many aspects of leadership that you need to be able to have. Team leadership, managing, knowing who to hire, and really being able, and I think this has been a focus in our own program, knowing how to inspire your team and how to lead. And that's so key. And we haven't always had access to a program like this to be able to build that skill set.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that overview.
Yeah.
Gladys, are you able to give us an insight into your background and what brought you to this course in the first place?
Sure. Thank you, Ken. So my nursing background, I worked in acute care when I graduated, and then I did more of an educator role and charge nurse role back when I worked on the ward. And then eventually I went down to the OR, the operating room, for several years. And actually, my end goal was either teaching or leadership of some sort. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I've hurt my shoulder. And so that brought me into the teaching world first. And in order to teach, you do need to get a master's degree. Most universities and colleges require that within 2 years of hiring. So that's why I've applied to the MHLP. And the reason why I didn't go into the education part of the master's is because, first of all, the colleges and universities don't require that you have a master's in education, but also my passion is with leadership as well, and that's why I chose the MHLP, and I think that it opens up more doors in the future for me. So you can do teaching, you can do leadership, and I think that's a great option.
Yeah, so it really was about giving yourself the maximum number of opportunity, whatever career or whatever study option you want to go into.
Correct.
Fantastic. And it's a 1-year intensive program, is that correct?
Yes, January to December. Get our
Wow.
running shoes on in January, and we speed along till December.
Wow.
It's like a marathon.
It is. A happy marathon.
A happy marathon. That's always a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
How do you fit it all into a year?
That is a great question. In reality, a lot of people are doing the same number of credits, but spreading it over a lot more years, and sometimes actually paying a lot more to get through their master's program. So we were really thoughtful about how to put this program together. We recognize that a lot of the students that we have, like Gladys, are also clinicians and want to keep working. So for our MHLP program, we were really focused on trying to make sure that students were only required to come to campus 2 days a week so that they could keep working part-time. So many of our students have continued with some level of employment throughout the course of the program. And then the most intense time of the program is in August, where people have the benefit of getting to do a boot camp at Sauder School of Business, which I think is a huge bonus of being in this program. So I think that sometimes when people hear it's a 1-year intensive full time, they think, well, I'm coming out to UBC Monday to Friday all day. And that's not actually what it looks like. And the other part that's really great about having people that are coming to school but also working or continuing to volunteer is that then they can integrate what they're learning right away. So we often hear that from our students when they come to class, that they're getting excited because they're able to take what they're learning and already start applying it in the jobs they're currently in.
Wow. So it's really not just come in, study full time. It's come in and apply that knowledge immediately.
Absolutely, and that's what we want people to do. So I think when I've been teaching courses, sometimes the assignments will lend themselves to that so that those people who are working are able to use that in their workplace and that they can, immediately see the benefits of the courses that they're taking.
Wow. And have you been able to do that yourself, Gladys? Have you been able to take the learnings from the classroom and bring them into your current work situations?
Actually, yes. We just had a big faculty meeting and faculty workshop, and there's a lot of reshuffling within our organization. And part of the workshop was team building and leadership. And I was able to apply a lot of that, like the knowledge that I've learned, into the workshop, which was kind of like, everyone was kind of like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm like, yeah, I just learned that. So it was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're working while studying at the same time?
Correct. I pick up shifts in the OR or in the hospital, and I also teach part-time at Langara. And I think one student in our cohort, she's working full-time, which I think is like,
wow,
intense.
Very
There's a lot to
intense.
take
But
in.
she's able to do it though. Yeah.
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 We do have our first question coming in. How should a student prepare for the program?
Honestly, I didn't prepare much. I think it's the years of experience that you come with, and wherever you're from, you have your own expertise, and I think that brings just different information and knowledge to the table, and I think it's great. We have in the program, we have like a lot of nursing backgrounds, and then we have a dietitian. We've had students coming from gerontology backgrounds. One is a kinesiologist, like very different fields, and I think that's really great.
Yeah. That probably leads me on to the next question. You don't have to have a nursing background, do you?
No, and that's the other exciting thing I think about our program is it's incredibly interdisciplinary. So when I think about the different cohorts, and we talk about the groups of students as cohorts because everybody starts together and continues together through the end of the program, and that's also really nice because I think groups become quite bonded. Typically, we do have a certain number of nurses in each cohort, but they may not be the majority even. So we have had a huge spread of interdisciplinarity in our program. And like Gladys said, people with backgrounds in kinesiology, health sciences, gerontology, dietetics, social work. So really anyone who has a background that would lend itself to seniors care is welcome to apply to our program.
Well, are there any core principles you think it would be valuable for students to bring with them?
have an open mind to learning, because you'll be learning from a lot of expertise, and just coming from different perspectives, I think it's really eye-opening.
Yeah. Is there anything you wanted to add to that? Or?
Yeah, I think that's a great answer, actually, Gladys. And I think of two examples that kind of line up with that. One is we often have international students in our cohort. So it's really exciting to learn from people who come from different countries and different places, to be able to think about some of the similarities, but also some of the differences in seniors care. And then people can think about, what they can take from all of that knowledge to bring back into wherever they're at. And the other thing about keeping an open mind is some of the students, and I think of one in particular, who come in with a lot of experience and has a very set idea of seniors care and what it is and how it has to be, by the end of the program said, what this program has done is opened my eyes to possibilities. And I just thought that was so exciting, to take someone who maybe was at a point in their career where they were feeling a little bit more jaded about seniors care, and for them to leave and say, this has opened my eyes, and go on to a new position where they can start to implement more of the things they learned in the program. I thought that was really exciting.
I'd like to add to that. We have a student from Nigeria, actually, and when she comments on, group discussions, I'm always like very thrilled, because I'm like, oh, so like your experience is so much different, and her seeing what our experiences are, and she's like, oh, I could see the possibilities. And a lot of our students work in management already, and some comments are like, oh, but it's not going to change, or oh, it's been always done like this, and then some of our other classmates are like, that's why we're here. I think it's going to change. Like, we are the change, and I think that's really great.
Yeah. Wow. So you're not just teaching, you're inspiring the next generation of not just leaders, but of seniors care overall. That's kind of exciting.
It's very exciting, yeah.
And you do cover a wide gamut of different topics, one of which is the quality assurance. Are you able to expand on that a little bit?
So sure, and I think I'll talk about it in the context of the courses overall, because one of the things I think that makes this distinctive from other sort of programs that might focus on leadership alone is that you're getting that piece around seniors care. So one of the first courses people take is called Enacting Philosophies of Care. And part of that course, it's meant to help you identify your philosophy as a leader, so that you understand what your own values and beliefs are. And then later in the program, when you take a course around some of the organizational aspects of seniors care, and we talk about quality assurance, you come to that topic already sort of grounded in your own values and beliefs, and you're able to apply that lens to quality assurance, which I think is really important, because when we think about sometimes the different solutions that we might come up with in practice, some are more person-centered and more senior-centered than others, and what we want is for people to be viewing this as a very person-centered approach to quality assurance and risk management. And that's why I think the benefit of what we call the technical courses or the seniors care courses is that you're bringing all of that knowledge to apply to those more business type situations.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah. And I believe our next question is coming through. Can we share a little bit more about the entrance requirements? I'm happy to field a little bit of this, but I understand you have a little bit more foundation in it.
For mine, I just came in with my nursing degree. GPA was about 3.8.
So that, which is about a 76% here at UBC, I believe.
Correct.
But for those internationally, we do have converters available. Simply jump online, type GPA Conversion, UBC, and they will be available there. But please continue.
And I think I did 3 references. There was like a phone call mini interview with somebody, maybe it was Helen, I can't remember. And then transcripts were sent, and also a personal statement, so like a letter of inquiry or a letter of intent.
Okay.
And your resume.
Yeah. And what kind of thing did you include in your letter of intent?
Why you were interested in the program and what your aspirations are. And what would you do with this this degree?
Makes sense. And is there anything that specifically you look for in the letters of intent? What are you looking for in the students applying to this course?
I think really a passion for seniors care. And so we have such a broad spectrum of students, and as Gladys alluded to, some of the students have, years of experience, and some have much less. And so I think people shouldn't shy away if they feel like they have less experience, because really we're reading it and we're looking for what is your life experience in seniors care. And some people have perhaps been a caregiver for a long time in their own family, or have been a volunteer. So I think people shouldn't discount that kind of breadth of experience they have. And then knowing, the other piece of it is knowing what are you going to do with this degree when you're done? Like, where do you see yourself going? And that is what we're really looking for as we read through those statements. And they're really key part of the application. I think people should really develop them and really take time writing them, because they are a really important part of it.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you also provided references. It's probably a two-part question. Which kind of references did you use? And from the administrative perspective, where would you like to see those references come from?
My 3 references came from, I think one was the charge nurse in the OR, one was my hiring from Langara. Funny enough, she also taught me at Langara. And then one was from a leadership position. Those were my 3 references.
Yeah, and I think I agree that it's a good mixture of work references and an academic reference. So one of the things that people do need to recognize coming into this program is these are graduate level UBC courses. It is intense. So having someone who knows your academic background and sort of your student habits and work ability is really valuable to have that reference. And then also having a reference that can speak to your interest in seniors care, what you're interpersonally like in a work or volunteer type setting is really helpful.
Wonderful. So now we've talked a little bit about applications, but where I'd like to move us towards is, where do our students go once let's look at the other end of the spectrum, where do our students go once they've completed the course?
Well, I'm going to teach first off, and then probably start applying to more management positions, either at seniors' home, in the hospital setting, like the ACE units and whatnot, more geared towards senior care.
Yeah. So what I always say to people is that I think one of the things when you get to this the end of this program is that you can choose the job doesn't choose you. And what I mean about that is that oftentimes when you're looking for work, you're looking for work. And what I have found is that for the majority of our graduates is that once they're done, they're able to really be thoughtful about where they want to work, who they want to work for, and what they want to accomplish in those roles. So people have been able to, go for a whole bunch of interviews and then choose for the job that they'd like to have. Other people have stayed where they are and applied what they learned where they are and have loved being able to further develop what's happening in their place of work. And some of those people have seen themselves kind of go up the management ladder as a result of that. So I think those graduates, and I'm always happy to work with graduates and people throughout the program to really be thinking about sort of, this is what my work background looks like. This is what I'm gaining in this program. What kinds of jobs should I be looking for and aiming for? And I think overall students have been incredibly successful in finding positions that they're really happy with and where they're contributing to excellence in seniors care.
Yeah, I know this is putting you on the spot a little bit. Do you have any specific examples of kind of the organizations students have gone into upon completing their course?
Sure. So one of our students went to work as a regional director in one of the large private long-term care companies here in British Columbia and across Canada. Another student went on to work for the Alzheimer's Society of BC. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. That's okay. Other students have gone on, like Gladys had said, to different care facilities within the Lower Mainland. And another student has gone on, interestingly enough, for a career in research administration, so going into that area of work as well. So that's the thing, it's so broad what people can choose to do, that they take their spark around seniors care and then take it to wherever work sector that they're interested in being.
Yeah, and as you said, everybody is working in seniors care whether we realize it or not, so yeah, it provides a breadth of opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. So we've now our students have gone out into industry, but I'm curious to know, how is industry involved in the course to start with?
Sure. I can probably answer that a little bit. We have a fantastic advisory committee. So our advisory committee is comprised of leaders in the seniors care industry. So some of the people on our advisory committee include Al Gina, who's an owner and operator, Daniel Fontaine, who's the executive director of BC Care Providers Association, Joanne Tate, who's the corporate director of Seniors Care for Providence Healthcare, and that's just a few of them, and I'm sorry I'm not naming them all, but really people who are kind of at the cutting edge of seniors care, and they help inform the program. So I meet with them regularly, and once a year the students meet with them and they do a little networking session. And then this year it's exciting. One of our advisory committee members, Dan Levitt, is teaching one of our courses as a sessional, and another one, Algina, has arranged a pretty exciting field trip for our students to meet and network with other industry leaders. So I think we've hugely benefited from their expertise, and it's really exciting to see them engaging with the program at the level that they do.
Yeah, and you've kind of piqued my interest. Where is this field trip to?
Highly top secret. There is a regular meeting of all the executive directors for one of the health authorities, the executive directors who work in seniors care, and they come together and they do strategic planning and different aspects of ensuring excellence for seniors care in their area. And Alice invited the students to come to that meeting, so as observers and also in order to network with these industry leaders. So we are very excited about that opportunity.
Yeah, so it's kind of the chance to see where policy gets made.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, that's kind of exciting. And it must
really
be,
excited.
As a student, nice to see that progression from course to career. Wonderful. One of the common questions we also get asked is, what's it like on a day-to-day basis for a student?
What it's like. So I do work part-time wherever I get called, I guess. You come to the campus about 2 days per week. And then I would allot two days for readings and homework. And then there are papers and whatnot. So when those are due, then I would allot a lot more time for that, especially at the end of the term. But yeah, no, it's actually not too bad. It's the more of getting back into school. That was the more like the grinder that I thought, like, but you overcome that in the first month of it. So
yeah, fantastic. We do have our next question coming through. How are the business leadership courses?
I actually love them. Like I've only done one so far, and we actually take them with the MEL students. So a lot of the engineers in our classes, and we do group projects with them, and they come with totally different background, totally different experience. And I think one of the courses we were talking about how to formulate a project charter, whatnot. And one of the examples was like how to build a building. And I was just like, what? Good thing we had the MEL students. Like, oh, we need this and this and this and this. But you can also plug nursing into like the same principles into that as well, and how to plan a project on that. So it was really interesting, and I love the mixture. I really liked it.
Wonderful. Our next question coming through is, what is the size of the cohort?
For my cohort, the MHLP, this cohort is 15 people. And then the MEL students, they're like a lot of them. They like way outnumber us.
Yeah.
But they're in a lot of programs.
Yes.
So don't forget that part.
That's true. And for those that aren't sure, the MEL is our engineering leadership program. But we are really focusing on that seniors care program today.
And I can just add to Gladys's answer. So our first cohort was 15 people, the second was 10, and then this year is 15. And I think, we're aiming for about 20 to 25, but we like to keep it small enough so that you have that great experience within the technical courses or the seniors care courses, and then go into the larger cohort of all of the programs coming together for the business courses.
Yeah. On a more clinical side of things, we're obviously we're taking a lot of information. What analytical tools are we using to help decipher that information?
What do you mean analytical?
Are you using any software, any processes?
I think that in our the seniors care technical courses, which are through the School of Nursing, we use sort of traditional assessment and evaluation approaches. So those include writing scholarly papers, doing presentations, and doing some online discussion boards.
Okay.
And that's the main way that we've been sort of doing that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. And coming back a little bit to the student experience as well, have you seen instances where the clinical side of things has been in contradiction to things you may have done in the past?
Things we may have done in the past. More clinical side of things. Not in the leadership. I've seen leadership progress in a good way. And this course has validated that, I think. But yeah, no, nothing contradictory.
Yeah.
I've only seen it grow, not necessarily contradicting, but a good change, I view it as.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Next question coming through. What is it like studying at UBC?
I love it. I really do. It's, first of all, the campus is beautiful, especially in the summertime. And I actually lived at UBC for most of my life, but I didn't do my undergrad here. I did my undergrad at Langara. So it's really exciting to be here, actually. It feels like home. Yeah.
And I think just to add to that, the students have a designated studio space. So students in the MHLP and MEL program share a studio space, which is quite nice because it gives you that opportunity to come together, to work on projects, and to be able to have access to quiet space, which sometimes on campus can be challenging. And then I think UBC is just such a well-established campus. We have a fabulous swimming pool, different kinds of exercise.
Lots of things to eat here.
And the food is fantastic. Food trucks have come to UBC. So, I mean, it's just a great place because you come for the day and just to be able to sit somewhere and do readings or work on your course projects. I mean, it's a really lovely place to be. Even inside and out, I think.
Lots of green space.
Tons of green space. I mean, I was lucky I did my undergraduate here too, so I've been here for a long time. And I think as a campus, it's just a really wonderful space to be able to be part of. And the library services, of course, are fantastic.
Definitely.
And that's a very important aspect of graduate school, I think. And then it's all available online, so you can do that from the comfort of home, or you can do that here on campus.
Lots of activities. I was part of the Storm the Wall team this year.
Oh, good for you.
With the MEL students. It was fun.
Yeah. So lots of extracurricular, lots of supports. Because I just want to go back to Gladys's comment around how much time the studying takes. I think that establishing study habits early on is so key. And here at UBC, there's access to so many workshops and resources to help with that kind of coaching. And then there's professional development opportunities through the MHLP and MEL program, where people can get help developing their resumes, doing some practice interviewing. So the range of sort of
there's also like
personal and professional development
that helps you with like referencing or researching. So I think it's lots of resources here.
Yeah.
So you're taking on all these extracurricular activities on top of your coursework?
Yeah, I do have my own life. I play volleyball. And actually the rec sports here at UBC is pretty great too. I think the MEL students are joining some of the rec sports. So I think like volleyball, and UBC has great volleyball teams here to watch as well. I think the men's just won nationals.
Yeah. So, and they have all sorts of teams like hockey and baseball, and you can go to the games here. And I mean, it's like a little mini city kind of place. So whatever you want to do is what you can find to do.
That's true. And we do have a lot of students who do ask whether students can live on campus. And as we've just discovered, yes, you definitely can live on campus. It is definitely an option. However, it is a separate application to your application for the course. So if you are keen to live on campus, please do put in an application, but be aware places are competitive, so get your application in as soon as possible. I just wanted to come back to something that you did touch on a little bit earlier, which was talking about student projects. Are you able to expand on that a little bit?
Yes, I can. So I think one of the things, and it kind of goes with that theme of ensuring that students are not just doing classroom-based learning. So in the first course, Enacting Philosophies of Care, when I teach it, one of the main projects is for students to identify a seniors care place, and I mean it's so broad where seniors can come together. We've had students go to adult day centers, long-term care facilities, hospital settings, hospices, the full gamut of different kinds of places where seniors care is happening, and they go and interview the senior leader at that site and hopefully go for a tour and then develop a presentation and a scholarly paper based on that, and sort of integrate that with the course content. So that's one of the projects that they do in that course. And then in other courses, we do try to have field experiences. So in the fall, one of the courses students take is around environmental gerontology. So how do you plan places and spaces for older adults? And so students often go and work and talk with architects as part of that, to be able to learn more about how do you do that within the seniors care industry. So we definitely look for opportunities and ensure that opportunities are embedded in the program so that people are not coming from to UBC to kind of do all this course stuff and never have the opportunity to go out and apply it. And so we try and integrate that into our coursework for sure.
And actually one of my presentations for Allison's class was sort of about urban planning. It was about older adult playgrounds and parks.
Oh.
So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so we really try and have this as a time where people can experiment, look at new and different things that maybe they haven't experienced in their practice before, and really broaden their horizons around what seniors care is.
Yeah, and are you doing much group work as part of these projects?
Lots of group work. Actually, every class there's group discussions, and there's online group discussions, and even our business projects, there's some group work into that as well. So it's great.
Yeah, and how are you enjoying the challenge of, with those leadership programs, because it's from that MBA program, working across not just the Masters of Engineering program, but across the entire university really, and from so many different backgrounds? How are you enjoying that?
I actually find it really interesting because you can share your own experiences and you see what their reactions are, and then when they share their experience, you're like, okay, well, how can we work together? Or like, that's a great perspective. How about this perspective? And I think it's great. Like it opens up a lot more ideas and views.
Yeah. And if you had any advice to give students considering this course, what would it be? I'd probably get an insight from each of you if that's okay.
For me, it's to stay organized. Before we even attend a class, we read through the syllabus. We already look through what are the pre-readings or what readings we have to be, reading before class, and you try to get all that done before going to class. So really keeping on top of things and being organized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's picking up on some of Gladys's themes from earlier. I think it's being open, because when you go to graduate school, I think it's a gift that you give yourself to try out new ways of thinking and to meet lots of people with different backgrounds and from different disciplines that can really shift your perspective. And I really encourage people to be open when they come into the program and stay that way, because that's how you're going to get the most out of the experience, by taking advantage of all the experiences that this program offers you.
Yeah, and because we do have such a diverse range of students coming from so many different backgrounds, if you could give them one reason to go into seniors care, into that, I know it's hard to give one reason because there are so many more.
I'll go first. Like we've learned in class, we talk about the gray tsunami, whatnot, and just the population, that's where it's heading right now. I think like the stats was something like in 2036, the amount of our senior population is like almost doubled. And I think we should really focus our care and our care on seniors, just because the baby boomers that's where it's kind of going in that direction. And I think I'm going to be there one day too. So I want to set it up so that, I'm at a good place when I'm there.
Yeah, I think for me, because my career has been in this area, and I've had people who, have said to me, "Oh, you're never going to do anything, Jennifer. You're never going to get anywhere." And honestly, it has opened so many career doors for me, and I have never been concerned about having a job or getting a job, and the kinds of roles, I wouldn't even call them jobs, because I have enjoyed so much what I have done, and I've had choice in what I wanted to do. And I think that has been a great benefit to my career, that I have, if I strip away the seniors care part and just say, I've been a point of care nurse, I've been an educator, I've been a clinician, I've been a manager, I've been a director, and now I am on faculty here at UBC. And all of that is done on a backdrop of seniors care. So I don't see limits on people who go into this area as a career pathway. And the rewards are amazing when you do the work that is so satisfying, and to see that you can improve the life and the quality of care for older adults is so powerful.
Wow.
Can really make a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think probably the central theme that's really come across with the Masters of Health Leadership and Policy is opportunity. And I know that's something that our audience will definitely gather from this program. We have actually come to the end of our time, so I'd really like to thank our panel members for their insights. I know I've learnt a lot. I'm sure our audience has as well. I did want to remind our audience that all our questions have been live, but if we haven't been able to get to yours, it's okay. We will be responding to all your queries at the end of the event, so please make sure you tune back in. We've also got a newsletter online, so if you are after the latest information, please click the Contact Now button and fill out the form, and you'll be added to our mailing list. And last but not least, if you'd like to ask all those questions you may not have got the chance to ask today, live and in person here in Vancouver, we're actually having an open house on May the 10th at Robson Square. So that's May the 10th, Robson Square. Come and meet with the current students, course directors, ask your questions. For all the details, please jump online, and we look forward to seeing you then. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and we look forward to reviewing your applications as they come in. Thank you very much.